Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the lunch break. I am, of course, KG Chris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. The Takeover, this is Throwback Thursday. Takeover is brought to you by, well, it's on YouTube and on Roku. Roku via the BS3 network. If you have Roku, please download BS3 so you can watch the shows, the great content provided on the BS3 network. If not, download the app, go to the website bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com. Going to get right into it. He's a man who's always been on time since I've known him, oh my gosh, for a minute or two. So, as promised, joining me today on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover is Coach Byron Smith, head coach of Prairie View A&M men's basketball. How are you, young man?
Doing well. Yourself, Chris?
Doing well. Thank you for doing this, Byron. I always appreciate it. Always good to talk to you.
Likewise.
I looked at Instagram for Prairie View men's basketball. You got a brand new squad, sir. You got a whole new squad. And let me see if I can do this. Byron, this is new tools, man. So you might be impressed or might not. You know, you're old school. So, but take a look at this. Let me pull up. This is the schedule. We'll get to that in a second. Is that right? I got 12 new guys. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
12 new players. Oh, see, you got a comment right here. See, you got a fan. Look at this, Byron. You got a fan. Let me bring this person up. You got a fan already right here from Not Too Complicated. Coach, I'm missing you. I miss locking you down at Fundy. you know who that is?
Another delusional fan.
Yeah, because the Byron Smith I know did not get locked down. He could hoop. He could shoot. That's what he did. He gave people a business. So, but just touch on the new faces, the roster, and how long did it take you and the staff to assemble 12 new players?
Well, Chris, getting right to it, man, we just have not, gotten it done here in the last few years. And, we're not happy about it. And it's just time to get this thing back going in a positive direction. So we felt personnel was a big part of it. Just getting the guys that fit. Had high expectations for last season, but kind of had some injuries and just had some guys that just didn't pan out the way that we thought they were going to. So we hit the ground running as soon as the SWAC tournament was over that we lost. We got right to it, and fortunately, by the grace of God, we've been able to recruit what we feel is a very, very healthy, with good size, which is something that's kind of been a problem for us in the past few years. It's just being too small. So we feel like we've addressed that. And not having, I guess, a ton of resources, to be very honest, being able to recruit this type of roster, that lets me know that there is a God that's above and looks down on us and has grace and mercy for us in our program. So we feel good about the guys that we have. And been here this summer working. Got a few more still finish up some coursework. So we'll add a few more here for the fall, and then we're going to be ready to get after it here in August to get ready for the 25-26 season.
Now, what were you looking for in these players? You got 6 feet, 6'1", up to 6'9". I always ask you this question, and every year you've been a guest on the show, the answer has been the same. Can any of these young fellas shoot like you?
No, but you know what? They're a lot more eager to try to be that, so I enjoy it. I tell them that, hey, you have to pick and choose your battles carefully, but they're game to do it every day after practice. But I'm still sitting at the top of the mountain. But to answer your question, we were looking to obviously to get bigger, and I think you see we have a pretty good sized roster, especially on the wings. Some 6'7" and 6'5", and a couple guys that 6'8", 6'9" on the inside. And I think just our entire team is bigger. Last year we had a couple guys that were just very slight of build and vertically challenged. So we've addressed the issues of size And also we brought in some very skilled guys, some tough guys that have experience. So we feel really good about what we've been able to put together and just looking for better results this 25-26 season.
You touched on it a little bit. PV, Prairie View is HBCU, a SWAC school, doesn't have a lot of resources. What
Mhm.
is, and the staff as well, what's the pitch to get players to come to PV and play for you and play for the staff?
I think the biggest thing is, most guys that we get, they want a bigger role. I mean, we obviously everybody hits the portal, which has been really good to us, and we just sell. Obviously, still, great location, quality education, great basketball experience, and obviously, transitioning out into one of the major markets in the country, in Houston, fourth largest city in the United States. So if all else fails and you're not able to secure a professional contract or move on in basketball, you can get a quality degree here. Most of them will be a graduate degree, which will propel them into society and be able to go out and get a good paying job opportunity. Obviously we've started to do some things with NIL. So we're doing more than we've done in the past. This will actually be the first year that we've actually been able to, provide some resources for them. So it's a start. But still good quality guys that just want a bigger role and want to have a chance to get playing time. I think that's still important with all the bells and whistles of NIL and the money. Kids still want to play. I mean, they want to have a chance to play, and you hope that you recruited the ones that really, really, really want to win because that is their greatest attribute and greatest asset is that their play impacts winning because everybody wants to be associated with a winner. That's in the basketball and the sports world, but also in the corporate world. People want to associate themselves with winners.
You're old school like me. So how much of an adjustment has it been for you in this NIL landscape?
To be honest with you, Chris, I think it's really kind of taken us from being, one of the best in the conference to, you know, one of the worst in the last couple of years, just finishing, eighth, ninth, whatever. Um, just because even within our league, there's some programs in our league that are doing some stuff with NIL. I mean, I'm not probably shouldn't mention who they are because I don't have all that information, but I have a pretty good idea by where some of these players are coming from and landing in some of these SWAC schools. But coaches talk. I mean, there's conversations around the league of who's doing that. And some coaches are very forthright. Would just come out and tell you that hey, we're doing NIL. We're providing X amount of dollars. So it's hit us pretty hard. We saw it coming. I guess we didn't think that teams in our league would start, jumping out and doing some of this stuff, but they have, and obviously they've benefited from it. So we're kind of starting that process this year. The fortunate thing is we've been able to recruit a pretty good roster without having to do any types of contracts or agreements to NIL. That we're just going off of a handshake agreement that hey, we're going to be able to provide something for you guys. Just trust us, and we're going to make good on our word. So I think we're in a pretty good space right now, Chris.
Was it difficult conversation to have with AD Goff about NIL and how important it is in today's college landscape?
It's not difficult because he gets it, he understands it. Obviously, football is going to that model. It's just kind of been more of our administration really kind of understanding that there's a new day now. Things aren't the same. You just can't. We used to sell facilities. Obviously, been on this campus. We got a very nice campus, and we used to be able to beat programs on the better facilities. But that's kind of out the window now. I mean, they don't really care about the uniforms, how many pairs of shoes they get. They're not worried about a lot of things that used to be attractive in terms of recruiting. We don't have that anymore. So Eddie Goff gets it. He understands it, and he's doing the things that he can to be able to help provide us with an opportunity to have resources for these kids. So, but it's been more just of a getting everybody on board with it, understanding that you kind of have to do that because there's a lot of pride here at Prairie View with getting a degree here and all the tradition. But this is these are the new normal, the baby boomers now, and they know what's out there, and it's really only becomes a problem when the schools that are recruiting them are having NIL or cost of attendance. So when you're coming up against schools that are providing resources for these kids or giving them an opportunity to get it, that's when recruiting gets really difficult.
What's been the feedback from alums, businesses around PV, businesses connected with PV regarding NIL and helping athletics?
I mean, I think the alums are kind of starting to understand it. I think in the beginning, once again, I think they were the major ones that just say, "Hey, man, the purple and gold, and what's better than Prairie View? Homecoming, all these things that they've hung their hats on forever." So I think it's taken them a little bit of time to get adjusted to it, but I think they are now. But we're not in the best position right now, Chris. Let's be honest. Take the gloves off and talk. We're not in the best position to go out and ask for a whole lot, just because the last few seasons have not been seasons that we wanted, and right now people are just a little bit frustrated, a little bit down on men's basketball, justifiably so. But I always say, man, tough times don't last till people do, right? So we're going to continue to fight, and I do believe in what we're doing. I believe in the staff. I believe in the program. I do believe we're going to have a chance to be much better. And then maybe those conversations will be a little bit easier to have with alums, where you can sit down and say, hey, now we need, you know, 150, 200, 340,000 dollars to be able to keep this thing going. And I just think it'll be an easier conversation. We have to do our part first. I mean, we were a really, really good program some years ago, as you well know, when NIL wasn't a major factor, wasn't a player at all. But now that it has become a major player, we're just not. We don't really have a strong position right now to go out and ask. But I do believe that day is coming again.
Going back to the roster, has anybody or of these 12 young men, anybody stand out to you, or any of them you have high expectations for this coming season?
I have solid expectations, realistic expectations for each and every one of these young men, because we hand selected each and every one of them. There's a couple that really have been really, really good in camp. Marcel Bryant, who's a returning guy, that, I don't know if I see his name on
Yeah,
here
he's
or
not on
not.
there. No, this is all Instagram. This is newcomers. Yep.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Well, Marcel Bryant is someone that's a returner, 6'7", 225 pounds. He's a guy that's got a chance to do some really, really big things. Tarion Joseph is a young man that we're bringing in that was at a grad transfer from UTSA that actually was in our league 2 years ago. He was at Southern. And then he moved on to UTSA, so he's got big time playmaking ability. Hassan Diallo's been very, very solid, very, very quiet, unassuming kind of kid, but can do a lot of things. Doug Young, Houston native, who's kind of bounced around a little bit. He's been really, really good here this summer and showing a lot of leadership and toughness. Lance Williams, a grad transfer from Xavier University in New Orleans. I mean, I could continue to go. Everybody's had a really, really, at least one good day or one good week since they've been here. So I think we got a talented roster. It's just really more about the chemistry now, getting these guys to play as one unit, and just going out working hard every day and just getting ready for this upcoming season. But I definitely feel a lot better about where we are from a roster standpoint right now than I did a year ago.
Talking with Prairie View A&M men's basketball head coach Byron Smith, a University of Houston alum. Got to put that out there, just so everybody to know in case they did not know. Coach, we're going to get to the schedule, non-conference schedule, in a minute. But for those who don't know, have not seen Prairie View men's hoops, how would you define your coaching style, coaching philosophy?
Well, it's always been, to play as hard as you possibly can play. And, obviously, being it's like most teams that really, really want to be an up tempo defensive team, want your defense to kind of create offense for you, to be free flowing on offense, to kind of get out in transition, because we have a lot of athletic guys that are in our game right now with great length. And everybody's mimicking the NBA. And even if you don't, as a head coach in college, the players want to play that way. So you have to kind of meet them in the middle. So we kind of have a free flowing, 5-out motion offense type of a basketball team on the offensive end. So we always tell these guys, the toughest part about the program is getting in unbelievable shape, playing really, really tough, aggressive defense, being above average rebounding team, and then you're going to get an opportunity to go down and really, really, play with some freedom on the offensive end.
August 1st, Friday, August 1st, is hopefully the official launch of SWAC TV. What are your impressions overall of SWAC Commissioner Dr. Charles McClelland?
Done an unbelievable job. I mean, this guy he hit the ground running. He's such a bright guy and innovative. I think he's taken our league to being really a solid mid-major league, in college athletics. Just really, really sharp guy. Really impressed. I've known him for a long time. I know he's always had some really, really good ideas. And, you always knew that wherever he was, there's another level for him. So obviously he's coming to our league. I think this should be his seventh or eighth year. And he's kind of grown it. He's grown the league. It's been a lot of growth, a lot of development. A lot of eyes are on the SWAC. Once upon a time, we were kind of like at the bottom, type program or type league, and go around, be a sparring partner, for a lot of the big schools, pick up a check, get beat up pretty bad and things like that. But now I think we're a viable league, and he has a lot to do with that. I think he has a great staff, great people working. Dina Pooler, uh, she does a great job. I think she's the associate commissioner. So it's not just by himself. I think he's put assembled a really, really strong staff, and they're really doing some good things. So definitely proud to be part of the Southwestern Athletic Conference under Dr. Charles McClelland's leadership.
What year is this for you as head coach at Prairie View?
This is getting ready to be my 10th full-time year. Obviously, I was interim, so I guess 10 and a half. Seems like it just was yesterday. I've been here for a little bit. So I'm the elder statesman of the SWAC coaches in the league. And to have an opportunity to be here this long, because, that's just kind of rare in this day and age. It's like you got to win now. And Janet Jackson adage, what have you done for me lately? So it's always a lot of expectations to win. There's no more patience. There's no more building a program with the portal and NIL. You can put together a team. You can buy you a team, so to speak. We haven't been able to do that, but I've been around for a little bit. But definitely, it's been a good experience for me.
How much has SWAC men's basketball changed in your 10 years? Have you noticed?
It's changed. It's changed a lot, obviously, because of the quality of players. Not saying that 10 years ago that we didn't have good players in our leagues. I think we always have. I just think that we're getting, players that have kind of dipped their toe in some other programs and gotten some higher level, more notoriety. Um, you know, strength conditioning programs, nutrition programs, some things that we really haven't had here. They've got an opportunity to have that experience. So I think they're really, really good basketball players that are kind of, want a different role. So they I don't think there's, as people make a big deal out of the levels. I think you got good basketball players in every league. And they used to say, hey, low level, mid level, I just don't think there is a low level. So the quality of players, the size of players that we're getting, especially on the wing. I mean, you've always been able to get, big guys. 10 years ago, you have a 7-foot guy that couldn't play uh, at a prospective school, comes down to the SWAC and gets an opportunity to play. Right? You always have big guys that may not have been coordinated or can't change ends and run the floor well enough to be able to impact wherever they were. So they'll come down, to the SWAC. Now you're starting to see really good looking athletes that are on the wing. I think that's been the biggest difference in our league. The wing players that we're getting, the 6'6", 6'7" guys that are multidimensional, that can defend multiple positions, can shoot the basketball, can get out and run and transition and finish at the rim. I think that's been the biggest difference. The guards, it's always been a guard league, but I think the wings that we're getting in our league now are, they look like this guy may be 1 year away from the NBA. You know what I mean? He's really close. So yeah, I think that's been the biggest difference in my 10 years here in this league.
I'm going to try to see how you'll answer this question, because technically scrimmages are secret.
Mhm.
Is or will Prairie View have any sort of secret scrimmages that you can't tell me the opponent, but just or maybe you want to? I don't know.
Well, there are no secrets. The only secret, if there is a secret, uh, is when I get out there and I scrimmage with them. And they want to keep that a secret because the result usually goes in my favor. Believe it or not, Chris, I'm still moving pretty good in my 50s. So that's really the only secret things that we do. And we probably do that once a week. But as far as the season, which is the real question, um, we've got a scrimmage coming up against Texas A&M International. Um, and we're going to scrimmage UTRGV,
Okay.
University of Texas Grand Valley. Those will be our two scrimmage exhibition games before we kick off the season November 3rd.
And leading into it, I got this again from Instagram.
Okay.
Non-conference schedule for PV. Just talk about it, the opponents, the overall makeup of it. What was your mindset of putting it together?
Well, you want to do something local. We don't get a chance to play at home very much. So those first two games, College of Biblical Studies, which is under the watch of a very, very dear friend of mine, and Michael Young, a fellow Coug, who's the head coach over there. So just have a brotherhood with him. So obviously, when he took over that program, then obviously we kind of had our eyes on being able to do something. They reached out, and we were able to put that game together. We played them last year, and obviously we're going to play them again this year. And then the University of Dallas, my assistants, they have a lot of input as to what's good for us from a scheduling standpoint. So, they felt that would be where we are right now as a program in terms of recruiting or how good we think we can be. They felt that would be a good opponent for us. And obviously, you hit it's real. Wichita State, very, very tough. Paul Mills, the head coach there, I think it's year 3 or 2 for him, 3 maybe. They're going to be very tough to play over in the Coke Center. Uh, Oklahoma State, Stillwater's tough. Missouri would be they were NCAA tournament team last year. They'll be very tough. We got a tournament, MTE in Pensacola. We normally like to do this out on the West Coast, go out to California, but Florida made more sense for us this year. So we'll get a chance to go over to the Pensacola area and spend some time, in the wonderful Florida weather. Obviously, North Texas, new head coach over there, a guy I'm familiar with, and Danielle Robinson. I think that they will be just as good as they were with the previous Rand McCaslin and Ross Hodge. Champions Christian, I think that's a good time to play, because obviously the schedule gets pretty tough, but I think, if we're not having the success that we want to have, I think it's always good to have a win with your program to keep the morale up. We'll have them at home on December 6th and go out to South Dakota and be a tough game. Paul Quinn back home, another game that we think that will be good for us at that stage. And we finish up with going to my home state of LSU, which will be big for me and my family. Get a chance to go back there and play against the Tigers, which will be much improved. And then we'll finish up with our big brother up the road at Texas A&M on December 29th. So I think it's a balanced schedule. I think it gives us a chance to see some wins, and I think it gives us a chance maybe to upset some people too if we're playing the way that we think we could play. If these guys can really reach the expectations that they have for themselves first and us second as a staff, I think we may have a chance to pull off an upset on 1 or 2 of these games here on this schedule, which is a very, very difficult schedule that we have for sure in our conference.
Wrapping it up with Byron Smith, Coach Byron Smith, head coach of Prairie View A&M men's basketball. You've touched on it. You mentioned it a couple times today about the last few years did not go as well as you wanted, would hope. Have you put added pressure on yourself to turn things around this season?
I think right now, Chris, I think every coach should go through. Obviously, we all want to go have the ups and the highs, but I think there also should be some lows. I think you really can tell the type of coach that you are. Uh, Nick Saban for a while wasn't challenged much. I mean, that's why they call him the GOAT. He was that dominant. But I always think that it's good to be able to be at different spaces in your coaching career, because I think it helps make you a better man first and foremost, but also helps make you a better coach when you can work yourself out of a tough situation, which I'm fully capable and belief that we can do that. So I won't necessarily say pressure. Chris, even when we were winning at a high clip, I still felt like there was more that we could do. I felt like we'd win by 5, we should have won by 10. Win by 10, we should have won by 15. So I've always kind of kept that expectation, not pressure, but just expectations to excel. Because this is what I know, this is what I've done all my life, this is what God has given me, an opportunity to be able to do. So I take it very, very, very seriously. But Chris, we're in a business, man, where, like I say, you're gonna face all types of criticism, more negative criticism than positive criticism. So I know that the talk's there that we need to win, I got to win, or that the clock is ticking. But definitely excited about the opportunity. I love challenges. If you're motivated by challenges, you'd like to be in this position that I'm in right now, that we're in right now, to work our way out of it, because it's that much sweeter when you can get back on the other side of winning as opposed to not winning.
Do you have an NCAA tournament team this season?
Man, I think right now, man, we hadn't lost a game, Chris. We're rolling. So yeah, right now, yeah, I think we're just as good as Duke, Gonzaga, and U of H. No, I mean, it's hard to say because Chris, it's so funny. It's like last year. I'll tell you real quick. Last year I didn't think Alabama State um, was much better than us, and we had a down year. We lost to them at the buzzer at their place, but it wasn't that they had the best team. They were just playing the best at the right time. And so, right, you don't want to get off too fast of a start because you can be like a team that we had in our league last year that pretty much dominated the league in the regular season. They lost in the first round of the tournament. So I think you want to have wins. You want to have a lot of momentum. You want to be a top four team going into the tournament, but you want to make sure that you got the team that's playing the best at that particular time. So I think it's wide open, and obviously with the portal being the way that it is, every year the championship the path to the championship is wide open. And I definitely think that we're pushing for that. Can't say that we're going to get there. I'm not putting the pressure on our guys to say it's championship or bust. But that roster that you put up a little while ago, that's a very impressive roster. We got a few more that are coming. So I definitely like our chances to compete for a championship. I will say that I feel very confident we can compete for one for sure.
How important is fan support? Folks come see you guys play at home and give that extra boost.
I mean, it helps. It's never been consistent. Here with the student body because they're studying and moving around so much, and I think we can do a better job of making the student body aware that there's a basketball game on a Saturday night. Or Saturday's pretty tough. A lot of the kids go home for the weekend and stuff like that. But Monday night is just getting back, and I'm speaking about once we get into conference because we play. Some Thursdays now. But it's kind of tough to get everybody matched up and everybody on the same page in terms of being available to come. But right now, man, we're a distant second because football. I mean, they've generated a lot of excitement around here. I'm excited about. I'm a big football fan. Go Cowboys!
Boo,
I'm
boo.
I'm super excited about watching them here in a few weeks. But they've generated a lot of excitement. So maybe we're hopeful that they can have a really, really good season. And the enthusiasm and the support from the student body will carry over into basketball. So we can kind of borrow some of that momentum from football, which this, Chris, as well as anyone, that when football does well, everybody else can eat and everybody else can be okay. So it could be better. But we have to do our part too and give them a good quality product to want to come out and watch night in and night out here on the hill.
Byron, is the SWAC repeating, splitting up the games, conference games between men and women? Ladies playing on Thursdays and men by themselves on Mondays.
Are you asking me, is that a good thing? Or are you asking me, are we doing that?
Are
It's,
both?
it's,
Are they doing it again? And then what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, they are, and I think that's good because I've always thought that it's kind of more of a high schoolish kind of way that you got to women play. I love watching women's basketball. By the way, a big supporter of what they do with Coach Pugh and obviously Coach Dylan Mouton here now. But I think we need our own space to be first, and the women the same. I don't think we should. It shouldn't be a shared platform. So I think it's a good thing. And yes, to my knowledge, it will continue. Um, because I think it gives you more of a Division One slash pro model of being having your own games on your own nights and at least one night anyway. And obviously the Saturday doubleheaders are not bad because you can get hopefully we can kind of get people to come out and watch the girls game and vice versa. So I think it's a good thing. It worked pretty well last year from my point of view. I thought it was a good diagram and a good platform to be able to do it that way.
Final thoughts from your coach, Byron Smith. Anything you want to say as we wrap it up?
Chris, pleasure being on your show, man. I really respect what you do. You do a good job. You're consistent. You're committed to it. So I appreciate it. And right now, not being a winning coach right now, the fact that you would have me on your show, I appreciate that. Checks in the mail. Probably won't be as much this year. I ain't been getting many bonuses lately, but it'll still be a little love offering for you. But excited about the 25-26 season. Uh, Thankful to God to have a chance to be a Division One head coach, to have an opportunity, and to be here as long as I've been here. Grateful, but to the Prairie View fans, just keep the faith, support the kids. It's not always about the coaches. They support the kids. These are people's children, and they're the future. But we definitely are really excited about what we've assembled here, and we just got to put it on the floor and just make it all work. But very optimistic about 25, 26. But again, to you, thank you for having me here, and thank you for giving us the coverage over the years, in the good years and not so good years. It shows that you're a consistent person. So definitely appreciate it, Chris.
Thank you, brother. As always, one final question from the audience. How much does the intimidation factor play into games versus SEC or Big 12 schools?
Man, it's tough. Best league, now it's the best basketball league, the SEC. If you're talking about that, obviously Big 12, we've always had games against the Big 12, but when A&M was there and things like that, but and some other schools, Missouri, whatever. But obviously, it's the best basketball league. At least it was last year, and I think they're going to be really really good. But two respected conferences, like I said, in the top two or three, SEC being one, Big 12 probably being somewhere three, maybe two. I won't say intimidating, but it definitely makes you focus hard. It makes you prepare. It challenges everybody. Our coaches have to be better in putting together games and schemes to be able to go out and to be able to have a good showing. Our players, we tell our players all the time, when you playing against teams from these conferences like this is the game that you really want to be solid. Okay, you don't have to be great, but you want to be solid because these are the film that these pro scouts and the G League and overseas and in some cases the NBA, Chris, these are the games that they want to see. That you're playing against the best of the best in college basketball. These are the games where you want your turnovers to be down. You want your shot selection to be good. You want your body language to be good. So I wouldn't say intimidation, but it definitely has you raising the bar in your terms of your expectations and what you can do because those games can really, really, really help you get a favorable look, from the next level, which all these kids want to play somewhere when they leave Prairie View and these other respective schools in college basketball.
Final thing with it, B, as a UH alum, are you surprised at how quickly Houston Cougars men's basketball has taken over Big 12 men's basketball?
Not at all. I met Coach Sampson back in 2007 when I was, doing some AAU stuff back in my heyday of AAU. He was at Indiana. Um, so I met him back then, and it was just something about him. He was just different than anybody I'd been around in the coaching, ranks, and I've been around. I mean, everybody, all the top guys, but just his approach, his process, what he talked about, how he talked about building programs and helping players get better and stuff like that. Um, you know, he's one of one. He's one of one. I say guys like Kelvin Sampson and Bill Self for me are the best coaches for me, from what I've seen and what I value in coaching. Those guys are at the top of my list. So no, it doesn't surprise me at all. The only thing that he hasn't done is, he was one play away from being a national champion. I mean, that's just one play. So hopefully he gets an opportunity to experience winning the championship because they've done everything the right way. They literally built a program, Chris, right in front of everybody's eyes, especially our eyes being right here in Houston. I'm a fan. Tremendous amount of respect for him and his staff and what they've been able to do. But to answer your question, I'm not surprised that he's gotten that program going in the direction that they're going in as quickly as he's done it because he's a winner. I mean, he's a coach's coach. We like to watch him coach when we're not coaching. So I said it before. He's the LeBron James of college coach. He has no weaknesses, so he can do it all. So definitely rooting for those guys, and I get over there whenever I can, and to a practice or to a game, just to let them know, hey, I'm rooting for you guys. But definitely proud to be a Cougar uh, today by what those guys have been able to do. It's just been simply amazing to watch.
Thank you, Coach Byron Smith. We will keep in touch. I might bug you in a week or two about other hoop stuff. It's always good to talk to you, my man. I appreciate it. And good luck this season. And I will follow you and reach out to you and bend your ear about different hoop things, as you know I do. And you can do the same thing with me. Any final words you want to say?
No, man. Thank God is good. God is great. Let's everybody be thankful for life and being in health and strength, and just hope that continues for everybody. Appreciate you again, Chris. Thanks for having me. Look forward to it. Anytime you want to have me, I'm always available. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Byron. You take care, man.
Okay, brother. Yes, sir.
Head coach, Prairie View A&M head coach Byron Smith on the show. Hope y'all enjoyed that conversation. It's always good to talk to him, catch up with him. He is, I'm not even going to say how long we've known each other, but it's been a minute. And you are watching this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, streaming live on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, as well as on Roku via the BS3 network.